The Joker is arguably the most iconic comic book villain in history, and his notoriety is undoubtedly right up there with other villains from fiction like Darth Vader, Freddy Krueger, the Master, and Professor Moriarty. But the Clown Prince of Gotham is probably the most depraved of them all.
You call me Joker.
Given his name and some of his depictions, Cesar Romero, we're looking at you. It's easy to think of him as almost a benevolent villain whose aim is to cause harmless mischief and have fun doing it. Well, the latter part about the fun is certainly true, but there's nothing harmless about the Joker. He's truly wicked, and some of his actions over the years across various media have been nothing short of brutal. That's what we're going to take a look at in this video, even though it's pretty difficult to narrow them down to just 10. Here are 10 most shocking things the Joker has ever done: kidnapping Alfred and the Bat family. The Joker loves to torment Batman. It's an obsession of his. And a surefire way to do this is by targeting the people the Dark Knight cares about. A prime example of the villain doing this came in 2012's Death of the Family arc, when he kidnapped the entire Bat family, essentially everyone Batman cares about and has come to rely on. This included his butler and father figure Alfred, various incarnations of Robin, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Commissioner Gordon. Worse still, Batman was knocked out and woke up at a table where his kidnapped allies were sitting with bandages on their faces. Joker informed him that the place was coated in gasoline and flints had been placed under Batman's chair. If Batman moved, everyone would be set on fire. Then Joker summoned a brainwashed Alfred, whom he prompted to serve the Bat family their own severed faces for dinner, raining down shards of poisonous glass on Gotham. Although it isn't considered canon and goes against most of what we know about the Joker's established origins, 2008's Lovers and Madmen arc was nonetheless an interesting and enjoyable read. It predominantly featured the villain in his pre-Joker days, as a career criminal named Jack wanting to draw out Batman to give himself a challenge. In contrast to his usual deeds, which tend to have a personal touch to them, this version of the character was unprejudiced in selecting his victims. And one particular crime was truly despicable. He unleashed a blimp above Gotham and caused it to explode, making poisonous shards of glass rain down on Gotham City. The place was littered with men, women, and children who had been sliced open and infected, many of whom died. It should be noted that he also slashed Batman's lover's stomach in the same story, but this version of the Joker generally targeted whoever he could, poisoning kids and breaking his own neck. 1986's The Dark Knight Returns is arguably the greatest Batman story ever told, and was deservedly turned into a two-part animated movie in 2012 and 2013. It sees the caped crusader returning to action years after retiring, which also results in the reawakening of the Joker, who had spent that time in a catatonic state in Arkham Asylum, and his reawakening brings out the worst in him. Prior to the villain's final confrontation with his longtime scourge, he despicably poisons a group of innocent children with tainted cotton candy, which kills them, although it should be noted that the movie didn't depict this. Then, such is the unfathomably twisted nature of the character, when the final confrontation does eventually come, the Joker is mortally injured, but even then he has the last laugh. The Clown Prince of Crime uses his remaining strength to snap his own neck, making it look like Batman did it, and framing him for the murder. Kidnapping and brainwashing Tim Drake. 2000's Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker movie might have been a spin-off of a television show for children, The Brilliant Batman Beyond, but that didn't stop it from being rated PG-13 and going to some pretty dark places. It saw Terry McGinnis and his mentor, a retired Bruce Wayne, going up against a supposedly resurrected Joker, resulting in an uncovering of a dark secret from Wayne's past. Flashback sequences show scenes from decades earlier in which, having kidnapped Tim Drake, the man formerly known as Robin, the Joker and Harley Quinn brutally tortured and brainwashed him, transforming him into their puppet. Wayne had overseen his rehabilitation after the incident, and he was supposedly living happy as a communications engineer. But little did Wayne know that Drake had been implanted with a chip containing the now-deceased Joker's consciousness, meaning the version of the Joker that McGinnis and Wayne were being forced to fight was actually Wayne's old partner. Beating and killing Jason Todd. Batman: A Death in the Family was a story arc from 1988 and 1989 that saw Jason Todd, the second incarnation of Robin, searching for his birth mother. He found her, but a complicated series of events led to her dealing with the Joker, as she was forced into giving him third world medical supplies that he subsequently sold on the black market. He also replaced the original supplies with laughing gas, which he would set off in the third world. When the Joker was with Todd's mother at a warehouse, the hero turned up to help her in his Robin costume. The villain proceeded to beat him to a pulp with a crowbar, before leaving him and his mother in said warehouse with a time bomb ticking. In trying to protect his mother from the bomb's blast, Todd was killed, and it wasn't enough to save his mother, who was also mortally wounded in the explosion. Killing Rachel Dawes. In Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Rachel Dawes was an original character created for the big screen. She was a childhood friend and eventual love interest of Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne, played by Katie Holmes in 2005's Batman Begins, and by Maggie Gyllenhaal in 2008's The Dark Knight, the latter being the movie in which she met her cruel demise at the hands of Heath Ledger's Joker. The psychotic villain took both Dawes and Aaron Eckhart's Harvey Dent and made Batman choose which one of them to save. He opted for Rachel, but the Joker had provided him with the wrong information, meaning he went to the location Dent was being held hostage at. Consequently, he only managed to save Harvey. Rachel perished in the explosion before Batman could get to her, which was an incredibly cruel thing for the Joker to mastermind, killing Batman and dumping his body. The 1994 Batman Going Sane arc looked into what would happen if the Joker thought that Batman was gone for good, and the results were pretty sensational. The Dark Knight is lured into a trap by his arch enemy and seemingly dies in a rigged explosion. But what the Joker does next is the most shocking, believing that he has finally done the impossible and killed his longtime foe. The Clown Prince of Gotham simply crudely dumped his body in a river. Even more shocking, however, is the fact that a consequence of killing Batman is that he no longer needed to be the Joker and began to turn sane. He received plastic surgery to look like a normal member of society, found himself a job, and fell in love. Ultimately, it all ended up being in vain, as Batman washed up alive on the riverside and was nursed back to health by locals in a quiet town. But the fact Joker would so nonchalantly dispose of someone so obviously important to him was pretty damn shocking. Killing Bruce Wayne's parents. This one comes from Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie.
I'm Batman.
A story that made the Joker directly responsible for Batman's existence, due to the fact that, in this particular timeline, it was him who killed Bruce Wayne's parents in that dark Gotham City alley behind a theater all those long years ago. It happened before the villain actually became the Joker, when he was still just Jack Napier. Bruce and his parents were confronted by two mobsters, one of them being Jack, who robbed his mother of her jewelry before shooting her and Bruce's father. Years later, when the Joker asked Batman the question,
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
the same one he asked young Bruce all those years ago, the Dark Knight came to realize who had destroyed his life all those years ago.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Terrorizing the Gordons. If there's one particular dastardly deed that truly proves just how sick and twisted a man the Joker is, it's his treatment of the Gordon family in 1988's one-shot graphic novel, Batman: The Killing Joke. The villain intends to prove that one bad day can turn even the most stable and controlled man insane.
Here's to crime.
So he subjects Commissioner Jim Gordon and his daughter Barbara to horrific treatment. The Joker shoots Barbara through the spine, paralyzing her, and kidnaps the Commissioner, strapping him naked and locking him in a cage of a circus freak show, making him view pictures of Bab injured and naked, prompting Batman into action. Only the most sadistic man would do that, and you can now see the moments on film in 2016's animated feature, which is also called Batman: The Killing Joke. It isn't very good though. Torturing and killing Batman day after day. 2000's Emperor Joker was a crazy story arc that saw the Joker stealing 99% of the unlimited reality warping abilities of Mr. Mxyzptlk. Consequently, the Clown Prince of Gotham possessed godlike abilities and renamed himself Emperor Joker. He went on to redesign the entire universe into a warped caricature of himself, which reflected his equally warped personality, and everyone in it found themselves stuck in a twisted time loop. Batman, as you might expect, came out the worst in this scenario. In spite of the fact that the Joker could essentially have done anything with that power, his main focus was on making the Dark Knight's life a torturous misery. The hero was forced to live in a loop in which his flesh was torn from his body every day, while his mouth was sewn shut. He would then be killed, resurrected, and forced to live the same routine again the following day. Yikes! Thanks for watching our video of the top 10 most shocking things the Joker has ever done. Did you know the Clown Prince of Gotham was this crazy? Can you think of any other insane acts committed by Batman's arch foe? Leave us a comment and let us know. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and check out the rest of our channel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to CBR for cool vids about movies, action heroes, gaming, comics, and more.